With Dark Souls 3 Deathless under my belt, there was only one natural place to go from there. And that place is, of course, Peak Souls 2, baby! I mean, it's got the area Earthen Peak. It's got Peak in its own name. Anyway, why did I choose to go back? Well, I just felt like playing Dark Souls 2. The rules are the same as last time, but, full disclosure, I had 2 mods installed. Center Dead Zone, which fixes the annoying cardinal dead zone around the movement axes, and Blue Acolyte, which protects you from multiplayer cheaters. Not that I was planning on engaging in multiplayer, I just had it installed already. Lastly, this just wouldn't be my video if it didn't have some audio issue, so Nvidia was a bro and helped me out with this by not recording my mic for the first few attempts. As far as Dark Souls 2 goes, I don't have such a great memory for item locations and such as for its sequel, so there was a lot of figuring things out on the fly. Let's jump into the game. The first choice was always going to be kind of tough, and that would be picking a class. The rapier would have been my weapon of choice for this game. The pokes are fast, deal good damage, use little stamina, and take you forward a lot. However, the low durability had me worried, so I opted for the next best thing, the mace. This was wielded by the cleric, which actually does not meet the strength requirements to use it one-handed, and no starting class even had a rapier. That has to be bought from the blacksmith. As for the starting gift, the life ring probably made the most sense, even though the bonus it gives is utterly tiny. And so I set off robbing random people's homes for some starting gear. In hindsight, I was engaging in a lot of unnecessary combat and grabbing unnecessary things just because I did not remember what would be helpful for this run. I broke the door upstairs to kill a crystal lizard, bought some firebombs for the shortcut, and even tried the quick pursuer kill I saw in an Imfa video, but it didn't work. The last giant was the first boss to eliminate, and I managed to upgrade my mace beforehand. Unsurprisingly, this boss fell with no problems. I used the souls to buy a lockstone to get the Chloranthy ring and a backup rapier. The problem with the cleric starting class should have been more apparent to me in hindsight, as I only had 5 dexterity to begin with, which was not enough for the rapier or the buckler, the latter of which was my preferred tool for countering the next boss. I had my first major close call, as I was faffing about in my inventory before his arena, but barely survived. Since I don't have live commentary at this stage, I think I'll refrain from showing the entire fights now. It was a tense and slow back and forth, especially with my low adaptability, which made rolling unreliable, but I pulled through. My reward was probably the best armor set for this point in this game, and the ferry to the Lost Bastille. However, I messed up 2 attempts at opening up Macduff's workshop, so I got frustrated and headed to cheese the Dragon Rider instead. We all know the trick, count 6 steps and roll past him to the right. Back to the Bastille, I decided to head straight on to the ruined sentinels. Before I managed to kill the first one, he fell off the platform, which was terrible, as I had less time to kill him before the others arrived. I stuck this first one, but couldn't eliminate the second before the third came. Fighting 2 at once would be very hard, but not impossible. Unfortunately, a series of bad rolls and sloppy play from me spelled the end of attempt number 1. Attempt number 2 did not differ much from the previous one, except I messed up the Dragon Rider cheese somehow. I think I started running a tad too early, but it's still an easy fight, even on the worst of days. I leveled up enough dex to use the buckler, and with this I felt confident to kill this minor pursuer in the Bastille for the branched silver ring. I finally managed to open Macduff's workshop, but not before having a close encounter with Forlorn, and now my weapon was +6, as high as it could go without chunks. I bought another mace to use the dual strike technique from that one M5 video, but it turned out to not be a great fit for Lost Sinner. I was too slow to deal any solid damage, and the boss would quickly move out of range. In fact, this is where attempt number 2 ended, simply because I wasn't acting fast enough to respond. Attempt number 3 started with me failing the Dragon Rider cheese again, but with succeeding the Pursuer cheese. I got the rewards, but I was disappointed to see I didn't get any souls for that. That still didn't stop me from having this major close call, but I survived while fat rolling, somehow. However, this was all for naught anyway, as going for this pursuer kill, I neglected to kill the dogs in the other room, thinking they couldn't reach me. While running away, I was snagged by a stray arrow. Attempt number 4 technically didn't end, but I also did start a new character. You see, the keys X and M are hotkeys for automatic running and automatic blocking, and for some god-awful reason, they are active while typing in your character name. I didn't know this, so I thought a mod was tweaking out or something. Thusly, I made a new character with the same problem. But this time I simply quit out and reloaded. I genuinely don't remember why, but I was still neglecting to level Dex in order to use the buckler for the pursuer. However, I did take the time and souls to level the mace as far as it would go for this fight. I hope you found it as amusing as I did, seeing this lone ruined sentinel leap up onto a platform I wasn't on. I decided to double down on the mace double tap strategy for some terrible reason. But again, this was clearly not the way forward. Power stancing maces required me to level strength and dex a lot, which left my adaptability uncomfortably low. I died again because punishing the boss's attacks was leaving me too open and I was failing my rolls. Attempt number 6 ended as I got stuck on some enemies while entering the pursuer's fog gate. Attempt number 7 ended as I rolled off this fucking wall. On attempt number 8, I decided to go with the Knight class for the higher dexterity and adaptability. I actually bothered getting the requirements for the buckler, and it made the pursuer a lot more comfortable. I reached the ruined sentinels and they were doing an awful job at staying on the platform. The first one fell off and jumped back up. As the third one jumped up, the second one fell off, and as the third one fell off, the second one jumped up. They both came in hot and I got snagged by a strike, finishing me off. On attempt number 8, I decided to use the lightning resin for this boss and it helped a lot. I arrived at the Lost Sinner with my dual maces again. This time, it was I who was victorious, despite struggling with the same things as previously, bad rolls and slow speed. Foolishly, I then felt overconfident and decided to go through the No Man's Wharf area, the only reasons being a fragrant branch and the best waifu in FromSoft history. I also wanted the souls from the Flexile Sentry, and a close call quickly changed my mind on coming here. Still, I pulled through and continued onto Huntsman's Copse, where this happened. I knew there was an ambush there, but I wasn't expecting it to knock me all the way to my death. On attempt number 9, I decided to buy and upgrade the rapier for the ruined sentinels, and I quickly remembered why this is the best early weapon in the game. It wasn't as clean a kill as last time, but I also realized the durability isn't as bad as I thought. The Lost Sinner also went down so much easier, because I could actually respond to the punish windows. I've chosen to open up Shaded Wood for an Estus shard, before going back to Huntsman's Copse. The Skeleton Lords weren't much of a problem, as the mace was essentially the perfect weapon against them. However, as I progressed to Harvest Valley, I underestimated the emotional damage dealt by rejection from a woman. On attempt number 10, I finally got some sense in my head and started with the Swordsman class, because they meet the dex requirements for both the buckler and the rapier, letting me invest everything into adaptability, health and stamina. And yes, I switched over to said rapier for my main weapon. Thrust turns out to not be the best damage type for the pursuer, but everything else would be easier. I got myself a mace anyway, specifically for the Skeleton Lords, and even a longbow. For some reason, the Covetous Demon was no challenge, obviously. Mytha was the next boss and she can be pretty formidable. I decided to look up where I could get more lightning resin. Turns out, Vengarl sells an infinite supply, so I went to visit him in the Shaded Woods and get his helm as well. She went down no problem, and it was time for 2 back-to-back invasions in Iron Keep. They couldn't handle my poker either, and I decided to call it for the day and take a break. Continuing my attempt, I was facing a choice. I could take the gauntlet through several large rooms with lots of enemies, or take out the Smelter Demon, a fairly hard boss, to get a bonfire halfway through. I chose the former, mostly because simply getting to the demon would be a pretty serious threat. I swapped to the mace for the durability and soldiered on, using the longbow to tactically draw aggro. I made it to the bonfire before the Iron King, and he himself was no big deal either. The biggest threat in the fight, as everyone knows, are the holes in the arena. Shaded Woods was the next intended area for progression, and I ran around a bit, grabbing some upgrade materials and stuff before heading to Scorpioness Naika. She was no match to my Stinger with lightning. I freed Ornifex just because I couldn't really foresee if I wanted one of his weapons, and also killed Vengar's body for the armor set. It's got some really good defenses and isn't even that heavy. Still, I was lacking the equip load to wear it all. Embarrassingly, I nearly died in the Prowling Magus fight, as I wasn't all that locked in. I now had access to Brightstone Cove Tseldora, the entire area being a gauntlet to the Duke's Tear Freya. This boss probably wasn't going to be a problem, but there was no getting around that long lead up with tons of spiders and hollows. I still managed to pull through, and now it was time for probably the scariest part of the run, dropping down the Majula pit. Despite getting the cat ring, it was a nerve-wracking few leaps with poor visibility. I cleared the initial hurdle, but still had to get down this wooden structure and... As I was running off, I remembered something about this jump being tricky, but what exactly always escaped my mind. Hey guys, did you know that Nvidia is bad and GeForce Experience doesn't work and neither does Shadowplay? I just found out that all of the footage that I've recorded so far of this challenge did not have my voice. And what's even weirder is that when I put the file into my editing software, the second track with the mic was showing up. And the mic was working, I was talking with my friend as I was playing this game. But Shadowplay just wasn't recording it. I updated the drivers, is what I did. And that fixed it, for some reason. So, do not use Shadowplay if you can help it. This was the point I realized my voice wasn't being recorded by Shadowplay, so from attempt number 11 onwards, we will finally have peak live commentary. I'm shaking, it's cold. It's cold in here. The last giant. Victory achieved. I have slain the last giant, guys. Exterminator. Anyway, I died after neglecting to fight the hordes of enemies on the way to the ruined sentinels, so at least I knew not to do that in the future. Wow. Okay, I have to kill these big guys. I need... Go, Williams! Oh my god, I can't make an exclamation point. Fine. Go, Williams! Ah! No! What the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, guys, there's a lot of blood. Well, I'm gonna find at the other end of this tunnel. Oh no! No! Guys, my ass is kinda itchy right now. I have to... Yeah, okay, that's better. Attempt number 11 was going very similarly to the previous ones, though watching back the footage I found I was apparently feeling very lyrical. Sit and get up. Get up! We have to get the intel! Cringe! Based! What? What the fuck is wrong with me? Wait. Did I equip the Ring of Blades? I don't think I did. I think I'm an actual fucking donut. I did not equip the silver stuff. I've chosen to keep with the longbow after the skeleton lords, if only so that I could pick off the stupid sexy desert pyromancers from a distance. Everything felt like it was coming together. Ruined sentinels, lost sinner, Mytha, all fell, and so did even Armorer Dennis to poison, of all things. This poison came from throwing knives, which I do not remember where I got from. It was time for Iron Keep again. A single backstab or 2 taps from my trusty mace would be enough to dispatch each alone knight, and there were many of those, and even a surprise forlorn. No! I gave in to the voices and murdered Tark in cold blood, just to get the second dragon ring. I was following the same path as in the previous attempt, but I don't know how it ended. I think the footage may have corrupted or something, because I cannot find it. Looking at the character preview in another attempt makes them look hollow, so I must have died. I believe it was to Freya, but I don't have footage of that. ADP, 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 ADP. Adaptability, 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 adaptability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. Where'd your health bar go? Huh? What just happened? Imported tunic, traveler's tunic. Won't provide much in the way of protection. No, I wanted to read that. I was just getting invested in that story. Ugh. I knew I was going to fall down that drop at some point. I knew this was gonna happen. Every time I walk over these rafters or something, I was thinking to myself, man, this is really tight. I'm gonna fall off one time. And I did, but I didn't think I would just fucking walk off like a lemming. Oh my god, I'm so sleepy. I am so nauseous. I am so tired. I am so sleepy. Attempt number 13 was even shorter, but in my defense I believe that they have taken some wrong medication, which made me very drowsy and sleepy. I did not drink. Why did my... Attempt number 14 was going more smoothly, and I got invaded by Forlorn, all the way up in Shaded Woods, which is not normally a common area for such shenanigans. Here's an idea. So, being wet and increases the amount of damage you take from lightning elemental damage. So, what if I just put water on the sword that is infused with fire, and then it should deal even more damage, right? Surely that's how it works. I also fell for one of the classic blunders. I had a close call with Freya, but nothing can shake the honorable knight. I even managed to descend the wooden structure in the gutter like a normal human being, making this the best attempt yet. However, I actually took a wrong turn and almost locked myself out of progressing. What? Do you think I can make this jump if I strip down? The thing is, if I homeward roam back, that's not going to... like... I'm still gonna have to make all those jumps back. Those risky ones, so I don't know. Okay, well that was actually not better. The gutter proper is not an area filled with dangerous enemies, but it's very easy to get lost here or fall into the abyss. I struggled a little with navigation before reaching the Rotten. A comically easy boss, right? So focused on the boss, I did not see the fire. I knew there was fire there, but I noticed it too late. This isn't really fun anymore, to be honest. Having to do all that stuff until the Lost Sinner is just a chore by now. After that it's still a bit fun, but before, everything up to and including the Lost Sinner, it's just become so repetitive. This is kind of what I was signing up for though, like this is why I wanted to do this challenge. It's probably gonna take a while. I need a break. Well, that was embarrassing, wasn't it? The second time I walked to my death. It was demoralizing, and it felt like everything in this game was out to get me. But nothing better ado than just start a new run.
Just about.
No, 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 no.
Nothing.
Fuck off. Oh, I'm so sleepy. Wait, this looks precarious as fuck. This is gonna break off any moment. I just know. This monument is gonna fall off any fucking moment. This does not look stable. Oh god! I'm pursuing. Oh. What the fuck are you doing here? Attempt number 15 started with the cleanest Dragon Rider cheese you'll ever see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, that was clean! But ended with potentially the most humiliating death so far. Okay, that's fucking sick. How do I did not know that was so slow. I thought that as soon as I used it, it would just heal me instantly, but this is fucking Dark Souls 2. That's a shame. I did the hardest part as well. I don't know how... Fuck. Holy shit. On attempt number 16, it finally happened. I was neglecting to start in offline mode, because Dark Souls 2 will connect online if it can, so pulling your cable is the only real way to not open yourself up to invasions. And I'm speaking of invasions because I did get invaded by a real player. It started with a concerning sound. What the fuck was that sound? Oh my god, that's a player. I hadn't considered what I'd do in such a situation, so I decided to Alt F4. Maybe not the cleanest thing to do, but invasions can be easily prevented by disconnecting from the internet for a sufficient time that the game doesn't try reconnecting. It's just that I didn't bother doing it. I didn't use any quit-out strats for any other situation, because they feel cheap. I actually got quickly invaded by the same person again, but this time I managed to enter the boss fight before the notification even showed up. I've learned my lesson, at least for now, and did pull the internet cable after the battle. Hey Adolf, how many souls do I have? 999! Thank you. This attempt was going by the book, all the way up until Iron Keep, where I died to Fencer Sharon. No! I don't know why my character did not start running. I don't know why. Fuck. Oh, this is very, 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 very demotivating, demoralizing, and everything in between. Oh my god. And that's what I will end the video with. I took a break from this challenge for about 3 months. I'm back at it again, and I still haven't been successful, but I'll keep playing on and off to hopefully beat Dark Souls 2 Deathless. I honestly didn't expect it to be taking this many attempts, as the sequel fell in only 4. However, I did also realize that the individual levels are far more hazardous and harder to just run through than in Dark Souls 3, even if the bosses themselves tend to be far easier. I'm having a lot of fun routing and creating strategies for this challenge, but the monotony and repetitiveness required me to take a break. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, I hope you liked the video. If you do, I would really appreciate if you hit like and subscribe. I want to get monetized, which would help me spend more time and effort making these videos. So if you want to see that, you know what to do. Thank you, bye bye.